Hey guys, so I know it's a little bit long time coming, but I still wanted to kind of come to you and do a bookish statistical video where I talk about a bit more like goal related stuff, how my reading progress journal is looking at the minute. So one updated goal that I wanted to mention, I have spoken about my goals already in one of the earlier January videos, I believe, so I'll link the relevant video for you guys in the cards if you are interested in checking out the rest of those. But I wanted to try and place a goal on me, which so far I've not done. As I'm filming this, it's like beginning of February, so I've still got time, but every 3 months I wanted to read at least 5 NetGalley books, so that's over the combined course of 3 months, read a total of 5, just because I feel like that's a good number, but also it's not like pushing me every month to read. So I can read like a couple in January, well it hasn't happened this way, but I could do a couple in January, a couple in Feb, and that's done, or I could just knock all 5 of them out in 1 month if I feel inclined to. So yeah, so that should bring me to, if I can do this, 20 NetGalley books to read this year. But I'm not looking at it because in that way that number's like big to me, and I'm more of a physical reader rather than any audio reader or a Kindle reader or anything like that. I usually prefer a book in my hand, so thinking of the number 20 kind of frightens me because I don't pick up my tablet that often to read that, but I know I need to make more of a effort to get through the ARC books that I've got, because it's not fair requesting them and then not reviewing them. So even though they are late, they will always get reviewed once I've read them, so I'm just hoping to hone into that a little bit more this year. I did try and do more like focusing on NetGalley books last year, and I did read a good amount, but it definitely slowed down about halfway through the year and I didn't really pick any more up. Actually, you know what, I am going to do a brief overview of the other goals that I have, just so you guys are in the know. So this is my little reading journal at the minute. I can't wait to be done with this book so I can get like a nice little small one, which I've got one, but I don't want to like not finish the pages in this one yet. So let me find my goal page. So this is how, I've still got like spaces where I need to fill in. This is how my goal page looks. It's nothing crazy, but I tried to be a bit more artistic this year. It failed, I know. So as mentioned previously before, some of these are recurring, but hey ho. So I've already mentioned the updated Goodreads goal. So I want to get through my magazine subscriptions that I have. I want to complete a few series. Check out the other video because I'll talk about which series they are. I want to complete the remaining books on my Pop Sugar Reading Challenge from 2019 and do a wrap up for them. And I want to slow down on my book buying, and if I want to do TBRs, I want to focus more on seasonal ones, and it's less pressure for me as a mood reader. So now I'm just going to flick through with you guys my reading journal, just flick through it and show you guys. So the first thing I want to show you is my top 20 books that I want to read. So even though it may not be in the order that I have written here, I wish I'd have done it in the order that I'm going to read it to you guys. But anyway, this is the first section I want to show you, and that is the top 20 books I want to read for my personal collection. So that is how that page looks like. Oh, I've got crap falling out at the bottom. But yeah, it just looks sort of briefly like that. I'm not going to flash up any of the books or anything because I know that's going to be some work in the long run, and I know that my future self is not going to want to oblige to that. But anyway, I've got The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon, The Institute by Stephen King, Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov, Outsider by Stephen King, I'm getting tongue-tied, Draco by J.D. Barker and Dacre Stocker, Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin, Carry On by Rainbow Rowell, Children of Blood and Bone by Tony Adeyemi, A Brief History of 7 Killings by Marlon James, Black Leopard, Red Wolf, also by Marlon James, Something Wicked This Way Comes by J. Bradbury, I Am the Seed That Grew by Fiona Waters, Winter Magic by Abby Elphinstone, which I can actually tick off now because I didn't realise that that was on my list and I'd already read it, George Orwell, Down and Out in Paris and London, Doctor Who's Time Lords Fairy Tales, which I've also already read now, so I can tick that off. Spider-Man Deadpool Serious Business, which is issue or volume 3 of their like crossover. Scythe by Neil Schusterman, A Danger to Herself and Others by Alyssa Shmuel. Those 2 books my cousin has loaned me, so I've got them in my possession at the minute. Pet by Awake Emezi. I've already read that one as well, so I can tick it off. And Girl, Woman, Other by Bernadine Evaristo. I'm so sorry if I pronounced any of those wrong. So those are the books that I am hoping to get to, that I'm more excited about from my personal collection currently. Some of them are newer books that I brought in this year. Some of them are backlisted books that I've had for years, months, so. The next thing I was going to show you is my Goodreads year in books of 2019, but I kind of can't be bothered now, and I still haven't printed out my little fact chart for it, so we're going to just slide through that one. So I have a list of series that I want to complete for 2020. So these are not all, so these are actually the books I mentioned in the goals thing. So I think I've already linked that video now, but I didn't realise I was going to talk about it again. I kind of forgot. So this is how this spread is looking. And so the first one is A Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas. So from where I've written like the number of book it is in the series as well as the title, and then I've got a checkbox that I can tick and also the date of completion, so I can just keep track of that sort of thing. So number 4 is Queen of Shadows, number 5 Empire of Storms, number 6 Tower of Dawn, and number 7 Kingdom of Ash. And then we've got the Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling. Number 5 is Order of the Phoenix, of which I'm currently reading at the minute. 6 is Half-Blood Prince, and 7 is Deathly Hallows. So I just wanted to kind of complete the original series before going on to the additional works like Tales of Beedle the Bard, all those sort of things, Quidditch of the Ages, Cursed Child, that one, those ones. Then we've got Trials of Apollo by Rick Riordan. So there is the 3rd book, which is The Burning Maze, the 4th, which is coming out I think in September this year I believe, which is The Tyrant's Tomb, and the 5th, which hasn't got a release date yet to my knowledge, but it's got to be called The Tower of Nero. I think they might change the title, I don't know. So the next series I would like to try and complete this year is the Priestess of the White series. It's called The Age of the Five by Trudy Canavan, and it's just the last book of the trilogy, and it's The Voice of the Gods, which is annoying because the last time I read the series, The World, it was like, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago, maybe even more. So I'm definitely going to need to like skim over the last couple of chapters of the last book, or look up a spoiler review, or read my own review of it, just to kind of refresh my mind a little bit, because I do not want to reread the other 2 books, just don't feel like it. And then last series that I would like to try and complete this year is the Waterfire Saga by Jennifer Donnelly, and that is continuing on with book 3, Dark Tide, and book 4, Sea Spell. I haven't looked up, to be fair, I've just looked at the books that are out. I don't know if there's planning to be continuations of some of these series or what, but these are the books and series that I would like to finish and focus on. To me, that is concluded. If more books come out far in the future, then so be it. We'll see how I feel about continuing on then. But this is where the books are at the minute. So then I have a section that's kind of like main books that I would definitely like to read. I'm a mood reader, so I'm probably not going to end up reading all of these books. I like to pick and choose how I feel at that moment in time. But these are the books that are left over from my Pop Sugar Reading Challenge from 2019. So this is kind of the spread that I've got here. So it's just the checklist thing of the prompts that was from last year, and then the books left over are on this side that I didn't get completed. Again, I'm not going to flash the books up, I'm so sorry, but I've also included the prompts for each book, but I'm not going to go into depth about that. I'm just going to quickly list out the books. So it's Alita Battle Angel, My Sister Jodie by Jacqueline Wilson, Bakuman, The Miseducation of Cameron Post, A Storm of Swords by George R. R. Martin, The Unseen by Roy Jacobson, They Both Die in the End, A Fatal Family Secret, Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon, Scornful Sadie, and If Cats Disappeared from the World. And then I decided I wanted to try and write out all the unread books I had in my collection ending from 2019. So if I've bought any new books this year, I'm not continuing it to that list. I just wanted to see kind of all those unread books that I had, if that makes sense. I read 21 books that I did buy in 2019, and I would like to up that a bit more too. So all the newer stuff that I'm coming in, I would like to read them relatively soon rather than leaving them so late and then I kind of lose interest in them or forget about them. I'm more reluctant and I find other new things that I'd like to read and yada yada yada. So I'm not going to go through all of this just because there's a load of books and I've not finished writing the list, but it's just a boring couple of pages really, with just pages and pages and pages of unread books, which is sad. Okay, I've got a big gap just in case I've got more to fill in, which I definitely do, but so far I have gone up to 159 books that are unread that I own, which is crazy to me. And then next up there is a section called 2020 new releases that I'm most anticipated. I'm not too caught up on this one because I don't really look for new releases. I just kind of see them advertised and talked about. I don't go out of my way to find them. So there's only 2 books that I'm super excited for, and I believe one of them is already out. So Tyrant's Tome, which is the 4th Trials of Apollo book by Rick Riordan, which I was mentioning earlier, comes out on the 24th of September this year. And The Conference of the Birds by Ransom Riggs came out on the 14th of January. So I'm looking out to get my hands on a copy of those when I'm actively seeking for it. So then I've got just a section of 2020 hauled books. This includes bought, received and NetGalley/ARCs. It's split into genres and loaned, library, etc, etc. So yeah, I've just tried to categorize as much as I can without overwhelming myself. So this is literally just a short list. I've got a few more books to add to this that I've bought this year, and I feel like if I write down and keep track of what's coming in, it might make me a bit more hesitant to spontaneously buy books when I can see that I've already got a chunk of new books that I need to get to, as well as obviously the backlogged list of books that I own, currently sitting at 159, but I haven't gone through all the books yet, so there's definitely more unread ones. So that is it for this sort of stats video. I know it is coming a bit late, but I still had it in my mind itching to get out, and I thought the longer I left it to film the video, it's going to be even more irrelevant as time goes on. But yeah, let me know if you've got any sort of stats and bits and bobs that you're kind of keeping track of your reading progress this year. If you've got any hints and tips as well for me to make it as effortless and easy as possible whilst getting the most kind of accurate results and seeing where my reading's sitting, then let me know. But other than that, I'll speak to you in another video soon. Bye.